It's day 13. Here's a midday update. I have been stuck in the same place all day long. Finally just got everything packed up. I had to do some sewing. I had to do a lot of different things that kept delaying me. It was just one thing after another. And it's like 3 o'clock. I wanted to eat, so I'm going to have very limited time. I might not make it to the next town that I was planning to make it to. And it's like there's no real worry because this is the reality of like what 1 million people deal with every day, that are homeless in the United States. The numbers say it could be less, but I think it's around 1 million. And I believe that it's completely unnecessary after talking to many of these people. Yeah, there's a lot of drug issues and stuff like that. There's a lot of alcohol. But it's like you take away the alcohol, you take away the drugs, and they still can't afford a place to stay. And you see why they are in these situations when you talk to the homeless people and they tell you, oh yeah, I live in the woods because if I'm at the shelter, the drug dealers know when I get my SSI check. And it's like all these people are disabled. They get these small checks. They get the checks, and then yeah, a lot of it can go to drugs, but there isn't even affordable housing options. I had a guy ask me that couldn't afford his place in Ann Arbor, and he was asking about Las Vegas. He was thinking about moving there. And he's like, is it hard being homeless there? And it's like, man, it's hot there. That's not really what you want to do. If you're going to be homeless, you want to go to somewhere like San Diego. And that's why all these people go there. And that's why all these people just go to all over California, because of what's available. It's not that they need to be in California. We can decentralize microhousing around the country, put people back where they want and need to be. And we can do this with AI. The way that we do this with AI is by building a network of small data centers connected to each other as a network. The modular omni-mind, chubby.mom, the modular omni-mind. It is a manufacturing supercomputer. It's a collection of small, 1 megawatt roughly is the standard that we will scale from. But 1 megawatt times 1,000, there's a gigawatt. Well, that's 1,000 communities around the country where we are building chubby.center. That is a factory data center. Chubby.center is a factory data center. And that means it's a data center, but it's also a manufacturing facility. So we're creating this nationwide manufacturing supercomputer that's decentralized, that creates our own supply chain for building microhousing, data centers, and factory college towns. We're putting together the people to make this happen by being decentralized, so that no one area is going to necessarily hold back everything. It's very easy to get held back on a single project because of this or that, but when you have all of these projects moving forward, we can put a gigawatt online. When we put that gigawatt online, the intention is to also have 1 million houses built over these next 4 years. Micro houses, traditional houses, factory prefabricated housing that can be produced a lot quicker, more efficiently, and not out in the elements. There's so much to this that makes it sound extreme, red flags, all of that. But ultimately, it's simple. We are an AI construction and land development company. We're building data centers. We're developing the land. That's what we do. We build. And so you say, well, why are you manufacturing? Well, we are manufacturing the compute. We are manufacturing the things that we need in order to have tighter control over how it is in our data centers, but also to absorb some of those margins so that we can pass on the efficiency to the end user. Speed plays a role in it. There are all these things that play a role that you can see the other data center operators are also getting into manufacturing. It's not an extreme thing that we are doing manufacturing. We are building factory data centers. We will manufacture a lot of our own stuff, whatever we need that is feasible. We're not going to immediately get into microprocessor manufacturing. It's starting at the metal and working the way to the more advanced manufacturing, where ultimately we will be manufacturing humanoid robotics in our factory college towns. It's to create an AI future alongside humans and not just build a bunch of data centers. It's about building a bunch of data centers to feed, house, and self-actualize humans. What's the point otherwise? Why would we care so much if we're not improving human life just so we can have videos or social media? It's like the social media is valuable. You can organize a lot of people in a short amount of time. But I talk to way more people one-on-one on this walk than I do online. I can sit online and post all day long, or direct message or cold email, and the amount of people that are going to actually respond, that it's not going into their spam and stuff like that, it's like, this is far more real. And that's why I'm doing it. The walk is about something far more real than what we are used to online. And a lot of these people have heard about data centers or have heard about them being shut down, whatever. But when it comes to their backyard, it's going to be NIMBY, not in my backyard. And they're going to say, well, I heard some negative things. And then they're going to look online and then they're going to say, oh, I don't want this at all. And, that's my point here, is people are like, well, aren't you worried that people are going to freak out on you? People want to bomb data centers. People want to do this crazy stuff. And it's like, I'm not afraid that someone's going to do anything to me because I'm coming at this from a human approach. It's like every single person that I've talked to is like, oh, I mean, no one's been really for data centers that's talked. People that have been for data centers are just like, yeah, woohoo, and then keep going. But the people that are against them are like, hey, well, what's up? Are you for or against? And I said, well, I'm against mega campuses, but I'm for small data centers. We've had small data centers around the country, around the world for, decades. There have been problems to an extent, but ultimately the small data centers aren't the problem. The mega campuses create all kinds of problems, from construction to low jobs after they're built, to using up valuable land, to using up a lot of water, to all these things. And it's like, well, we've got plenty of water, or we got plenty of this, or we got plenty of that. If we do this, we got that. Okay, that's fine that there are solutions, but we're not even going to get to the solutions if people aren't feeling like they're part of this, if they're not being talked with, if they're not understanding the gravity of it. And there's going to have to be mega campuses. You talk about 1 gigawatt, even if they're 20 megawatts at each, or 50 megawatts, times 1,000. We don't want big things like big data centers like that. I would really like to keep them 20 megawatts or less. And at 20 megawatts times 1,000, there's 20 gigawatts. Or let's say if we did even more locations, 20,000 locations at 1 megawatt. We can deploy solar on site at the smaller locations. We can do a lot of things. And with the fiber build out, it makes it a lot more feasible. It's not as simple as just putting some computers in buildings. I know that there are a lot of things involved with the connectivity. I've talked to all the major internet providers. And I'm going to end it here. I already went over what I wanted to be. But my point is that this is a real plan. Chubby.computer, chubby.center, chubby.mom, chubby.town. That's what chubby.ai is. It is about building computers, chubby.computer, putting them in data centers, which are building them, the chubby.center. Chubby.mom is the collection of them. And chubby.town is factory college towns that are seeded by these factory data center developments. That's what it is. That's how we get to the housing. That's how we get to helping to feed, house, and self-actualize humans. You know, we're not just taking the farmland and building massive campuses. We are integrating farmland into the communities in a way that maybe people didn't think about as much before. Especially as we go into more indoor farming and trying to keep pests away and all of these things while using more electricity. We've got to make trade-offs. We've got to understand these things, and it's time that people start making the decisions through conversation, actually understanding the reality of what we're building. And all of us go to work over the next 4 years, next 4 or 5 years, 10 years, but I think it's going to take 25.